Hello, everybody. Welcome. So today I'm gonna be showing you how I do a press-on set for my website because why not? Instead of these short TikTok, Instagram reels, I just wanted to have a very detailed video for the ones that are wondering, where do I even get started? Well, here. Today I'm going to be using Madame Glam's XoXo as a base color. I really like this shade because it goes well with deeper skin tones. I really don't like when I used to go to the nail salon and I'd ask for a fringe and they give me this pale ass fucking fringe. Excuse my language, but just doesn't go well with certain skin tones. If you know what I'm talking about. Having ranges like this is what's the word I'm looking for? It's considerate. It's you being considerate as a nail tech, offering different ranges rather than just for one skin tone. By the way, guys, you guys can get 40% off. Yes, 40% off. That's damn near half with Madame Glam using my code XXLNails. I'll put it down below for you guys to, see it, visually see it. I'll put a link there too. I know y'all be lazy, boy. So yeah, this shade is called XoXo, and I already went ahead and I prepped my tips. I can make a whole separate video on how I prep my nails. I feel like I've learned so much through my mistakes and just by wearing my own nails too over the years. I feel like I've really mastered the preparation part, even though that is my least favorite part. I fucking hate no matter what kind of nails I'm doing. I don't like the prepping. I don't like the prepping, the buffing, the shaping, the whatever. But I have mastered it, and the more you do it, the better and the faster you'll get at it. So I just be zooming through the prep part. But I don't just slap it onto a plastic tip. That's something that I've learned. That's something that I used to do a really long time ago. I can't believe I was selling nails like that, like no apex, nothing. You could also use acrylic. I like to use gel. But yeah, like I said, I can make a whole nother video on that, explaining that, because we don't gatekeep around here. We gonna jump to the next clip because I know everyone's attention span isn't where it used to be. What I decided to do here is, oh, by the way, y'all, my inspo is from my pretty set on Instagram. I saw these floating around, but I wanted to find the OG creator of it. And yeah, their work is pretty good. And I really like this little trend, so I thought I'd give it a try. But instead of going for a deep French, I think it was, I'm going for a very low, classy, cunty French. No. Bruh. I actually made a reel of me doing one of these Frenches the other day on my Instagram. Follow me, by the way, girl, at Nails by Letitia Latifa. And what I did was I put, how the French one I'm applying now, instead of doing that second, what I did was, so I think I did the French first, the French part, and then I just would take the Madame Glam XoXo, the one we just used, and I would just put it at the bottom. Because I was like, maybe that's saving product. But then that was a lot more work, because then you have to go over the lines again and make sure there's no gaps or nothing like that. If you're going to do a low French, I just be experimenting. I just be doing shit. And yeah, that's how I learn. And I like to share what I learn. So yes. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I think this is the easiest way. I am very, very picky about certain stuff. I'm very anal. Do people say that? I don't know. I don't want to say that. I'm very picky about certain stuff. So you might see this French right now. You girl, what the fuck is you doing? Move on next. No, something is wrong with me. It's certain stuff that I'm very picky about. I think it's in my head sometimes, but sometimes I also feel like it needs to be done. That's what I hate that word, differentiates, whatever. Y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. That's what makes your work different. than from others, just because it's so detailed and so like realistic and so clean and so neat, rather than just slapped on there. Okay, we're gonna have to fast forward this a little bit. I think y'all get it, right? Y'all get how the Frenches work. And you're probably thinking, girl, why are you using aluminum foil? Because I am fucking done. Excuse my language yet again, but I am done with these little resin things. This little thing, then it falls and shatters on the ground, or the paint gets stuck, or the paint like rubs off on it and it'll look ugly in 2 months. I'm telling you, I'm very picky, and I'd rather just use aluminum foil than every day it's like a new surface. I don't have to worry about shit being stuck up on there, me scratching it. Like, I'm so done with those. Y'all will never catch me buying those ever again on me. I promise you, aluminum foil, 10 out of 10. Also, notice how I'm using a super long liner brush for this. Put the stubby one down, use the longer ones for the French. Just do it. Just listen to me and test it out. I also had somebody ask me, well, Letitia, what do you use for the nails to stay on the nail stands? Let me put y'all on so y'all can save y'all money and skip the bullshit. Don't you go buying those putty things, those little putty things like, oh, there's so much in there, like it's gonna be so awesome, it's gonna be perfect. No, it's not. For some reason, they don't stick, no matter what brand. Like, they stick all right, but then they don't after like 5 minutes. And the thing is, if you use the putties, then when you're done with the nail, you have to flip it over, scrape off the fucking, excuse my language, scrape it off, right? And then get some alcohol to get off like the little tiny pieces left. What you need to do is throw that motherfucking putty away. And what you need to get are the nail tabs. You know, the nail tabs you use if you don't want to wear your nails for, a very long time. Or maybe you just don't want to use nail glue on your nail bed. That's okay. That is what you're going to use on the nail stands for them to stick. That is key. They don't go nowhere. Or what else you could use is double-sided tape. But make sure it's a good brand, like a little bit thicker. Not those thin-ass ones you get at fucking Teddy or at the Dollar Tree. Really good quality ones. They won't move. Because I'm telling you, when you working on your stuff and your nail is wet and it starts to fall, you gonna be pissed as hell. Because you gonna have to press on that nail and press it back down somehow, and then wipe off the design and redo it if you ain't cured it already. So it's just unnecessary stress that you can skip. You're welcome. So we're gonna start on the cheetah print. It's pretty simple. It's very self-explanatory, just take a glance and you'll see I'm just drawing random little things. I feel like cheetah designs or animal prints are very good designs to start off with when you're branching out into the nail art world, only because you need to learn how to let go and let God. Don't focus on every single tiny little dot, little thing. You know how I am? Don't be like that, because it's going to take away from your time. It's going to take you longer to do a set. It's an animal print. They're different all the time. There's no right way to do it. There's no wrong way of doing it. Okay, you know what I mean, though. You know what I mean. Just draw the dots. They don't have to be, the most perfect ones, the most round ones. They can be imperfect. And if you think you messed up, then make it look like it was there on purpose. Work with what you have already. Don't go in there with a whole bunch of alcohol and whatever acetone if you don't need to. Like, for example, if I was, this is me in the video. When I'm drawing this and I'm like, ooh, that one is so ugly, I'll just go in with a bigger blob, or I'll connect it with another one, and next, okay? Don't think about it too hard. Just try it out. Do the little tiger stripes, the little cheetah prints, the cow prints, and just get used to like the different kind of tools you'd like to use, the ones you like. It's a lot of things that play a role in doing this, and you're gonna have to practice, and the practicing is what's gonna get you to become this fantastic, wonderful nail artist you would like to become. I think it's good to know when to be too picky and when to let go and let God. So you kind of need to find like that balance of, okay, do I need to go ahead and be more picky with this? Does this need to be more neat? Or can I let go of this and make it appear as if, it should have been there? So that's where that practicing comes in. Practice, practice, practice. Also, I'm using a dotting tool here, as you can see. It's a pretty small one. I wouldn't really go in with a big one unless you was going for bigger cheetah prints. You just got to play around with them, girl. Play around with your tools. So in order for you to get started with the press-ons, of course, you're going to need certain stuff like the nail stands, the nail tabs that I was telling you guys about, nail tips, etc. All that I'll have linked in my Amazon storefront, just so you don't have to buy bullshit, waste your money, see if it's good. Oh, it's not good. You have to order it again. Moving on, I'm going to be using Madame's Glam Perfect Black, which is my new favorite black because it's black as fuck, and I hate having to go over shades. And I'm going to use that to outline the cheetah prints we just drew, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. Once again, you can use my code XXL Nails, all caps, in order to get 40% off. That's quite a lot. That's the most I've ever heard a company give, customers. Anyways, I'm using that same dotting tool, not thinking too much about it. The cheetah prints that I made earlier, if they're too small, what I'm going to do is just leave them the fuck alone. And then I'll add some black dots as well, and then everything kind of comes together like that. Don't try to force an outline if, there's nothing to outline. And like I said, putting random black dots in between really brought everything together for me. Also, you really have the advantage here because you're not working on a client, so you're able to flip the nail whenever you want. And I think flipping the nail also really helps everything look kind of random, like an animal, like an animal print would, rather than everything so aligned, because then you can work a little bit here and work a little bit here, and then it just comes together. So these are all I'm not saying this for nothing, these are all tiny little tips that help your nail art look clean and crispy and just nice. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to struggle, and you just flip the nail. Just flip the nail. And if you're like, oh, this side is really just pissing me off right now, just work on the other side and get back to it. Because by the time you're done with that side, it might not look that stupid on the other side anymore, because you can see it then. Oh, okay. You take a step back. You're like, oh, okay, this is actually looking good. I can keep it like that. Rather you stressing on one part and sitting there for hours and hours. Don't get me wrong. I already do be sitting here for hours. Like I said, because I'm picky, and also because I'm doing these very detailed, abstract, 3D kind of nail art. So regardless, I'm here for a long time. But there are certain things you can do to shorten this time, Little tiny things, like I said from the beginning, getting the right nail adhesive, so your nail doesn't fall off in the middle of the set. That's you saving time rather than fucking up your design, then having to go get another nail tab and gluing it on there. That's all time. You're probably like, girl, that's 30 seconds. Okay, if shit like that happens to you 40 times with one set, how much more time is that actually gonna add on? It's food for thought. Before we get to the fun part, the 3D cherry, I'm going to show you guys how to do that too. I am going to top coat. Now, sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't, but I think I'd like to start doing it. And I think I'm going to start doing it because once I put the 3D stuff on there, it's not like I can top coat underneath, or it's kind of hard. You have to move your brush all weird and everything and all that stuff. Look, this is the one with the putty. That's why it's falling. I had 3 of them with the putty because I couldn't find my nail tabs, or at least I didn't want to get up and look for them. But yeah, you see how annoying that is? Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to be top coating. I'm using the Madame Glam top coat, 40% off, XXL Nails. Madame Glam is really starting to grow on me. They actually sent me a few things I still have to try out. But yeah, I like them. I like them. I don't know. What do you guys think? Me personally, I really don't like when companies send me shit and then want me to make something out of it, like a video or something, or like this crazy ass design when your product is like, it's not that good. It's not that great. So you sending me it, it's not going to change nothing. The formula stays the same. I can't work my magic on shit. So, but yeah, anyways, back to the point. When I did top coat though, and then use my 3D stuff on top of it, I feel like it wasn't as tacky. So I would just test it out with your top coat and with your 3D stuff. I can't think of the word right now. Oh my god. Your sculpting gel. That's what I was thinking about. Just play around with it. For me personally, it didn't make like such a big difference. I just had to be more careful because I wasn't expecting it to glide off like that. But I got it to work. I'm gonna show you guys here. So I use different kind of sculpting gel. I like to use new things and see like what product gives me the most amount for my money, but also quality. A lot. I've tried ones on Amazon. I just don't like when the bottle is so big and then there's like hella space in it, right? And then there's like 20% product. Go bullshit somebody else. So I'm going to the next product. And I think this one was, I don't know, I don't want to say because I don't want to sound stupid. I don't remember how much was in there. All I remember is there was like not any space in the jar. So I really like that. Also, do not use your hands, but I don't know what to tell you what to use because we all know when we use gloves with sculpting gel that they stick. It's a mess. It gets all slimy and stuff. You can't even do what you want it to do. So yeah, not too much on my nail beds either, okay? My nails are not done. They were before this, but then I took it off. I don't know why I did. Sometimes I just, like I said, I just be doing shit. And as bad as it is, I'm also a picker. So I don't do crack or anything or, whatever the fuck people do at the end of the day when they stress. I just like to pick on my cuticles. That's a pretty bad habit, but this is what I was talking about. You see how it's slipping down and stuff? I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, girl, you put the top coat on first. So just play around with it, see what works best for you. Maybe you don't like to put the top coat on first. So I made a little ball. You saw how I did it, and I put it on there. But as we know, this is the thing. You just have to look at a cherry. We all know what a cherry looks like, but if you're going to do something like this, look at a picture of a cherry. Because details matter and details will put yourself out there more because it'll just speak for itself. So a cherry is not necessarily fully round, okay? We know it kind of goes in the middle, okay? It almost has like a heart shape at the top, but still kind of like that oval effect to it. If you know what I'm trying to say, then you know. If you don't, goodbye. Okay, so I'm just playing around with it. I do use these little silicone thingies here that I will also have linked to my Amazon storefront, which is very convenient. I was just using my cuticle pusher in the beginning, which you could also do, but I really like how they have the different shapes. Makes it easier if you want to do more like, I don't know, like if I wanted to sculpt a Powerpuff Girl, I would need these tools. So yeah. I look at it from all sides because once again, details matter. And if your cherry is looking good from up top, but then if the client has the nail on and then moves its finger to the side and then it's lumpy as fuck on the left side, but then smooth as fuck on the right side, no one wants that. So just take your time. I know I'm very picky, but I'm telling you, this makes such a difference. I believe this is the ring finger that I'm about to decorate. Yeah, it is. So on this one, I'm going to be adding 2 cherries, one at the bottom and then one at the top. And then I'm going to be connecting them with the stems and adding a little leaf. But I want to make sure that both of my cherries look the same. I don't need one weighing like fucking 40 pounds and the other one weighing 2 pounds. We want them to be similar. Now I'm going to start on the stem as well. And this is how I started off. This is not how I'm going to be leaving it on the nail. Because if I put it on the nail just like this, what's going to happen? One side is thinner than the other. It's going to be uneven, lumpy, and it's just not going to give cherry at all. It's just going to give illness, just sick, like a sick cherry. So yes, I'm placing it on there like that. But what you're going to see me do is not only make them straight on both sides, okay? So that one side isn't thicker than the other one. Both sides, left and right of the stem, are just as thick. I took some Instagram pictures and some product pictures for my website once I got done with this set, and they turned out really, really cute. If you want to see them, you can go ahead and follow and like the picture. It's a lot of y'all. You know what I've noticed? Hold on before I get distracted. My @ is @nails by Letitia Latifa. Just like my name on here, Letitia Latifa, is just nails by, okay. Nails by Letitia Latifa. Anyways, what I was gonna say is don't get discouraged if no one's supporting your stuff, no one's liking, blah 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 blah. Fuck all that. Just post it and your work will get recognized sooner or later. A lot of times when my content goes up or viral, whatever, and I check my analytics, it don't be my followers that be getting me there. Never. So yeah, just do your own thing. Work on yourself. Watch these YouTube videos, learn, take classes, inform yourself. No one's gonna grab you by the hand and be like, this is what you have to do, this is how you have to do it. No, girl, no, you gotta put in a little bit of work by yourself. And if you guys hear my cat purring, that's because I am an OG cat mom. And I got responsibilities and I'm multitasking right now. All right, let's speed this up just a little bit. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to do 2 cherries on the ring finger and the middle finger. But with this one, I want it to connect with the stem, connecting to one finger to the other. But in order to do so, I need to visually understand that it doesn't need to connect while it's on my nail stands, right? It needs to connect when it's on the client's fingers. Now, what do you notice when you look at your fingers? Typically, normally, the middle finger is the longest. So the middle finger is going to be poking out a little bit more than the ring finger. So what I'm going to be doing for the ring finger is I'm going to be placing the cherry somewhat higher. And you see me comparing it also, just making sure that the cherries look alike. But yes, so for the ring finger, for the ring finger, I'm going to place it a little bit higher. I'm placing the cherry somewhat higher. And then on the middle finger, I'm going to be placing it somewhat lower. Because when you're wearing it, then everything's going to connect very nicely. Ultimately, it depends on the stems now because the stems are going to have to connect. It doesn't really matter about the cherries. Even if I placed it a tad bit lower, as long as the stems match. So, not match, but connect. You're just going to have to use your eyes, sweetheart. So you don't have to you don't have to copy exactly where I put the cherries and the placement and stuff. If you were on the middle finger, I want it to be a little bit higher or a little bit lower, you can do that. Just make sure that they connect, okay? And that goes for everything. Just always try to visualize the set being on your nails.
Some time, but I should stick around for what? Always felt like sticking around's the same as being stuck. That's that shit that drives me crazy. It guns with the aching, getting under my skin. Pretty little young thing, had a nigga convinced, got me too excited. Yeah, you play me.
You're just gonna have to eye it. Don't do it on the nail stand though, because on the nail stand everything is even. Our fingers, our nail beds, look at your hand right now, girl. They're not even. That's just not how we was born. So please just keep that in mind. Long story short, I'm just saying use your common sense, girl. There's some things that don't have to be explained and you just have to take a look, from like an outside perspective. For example, you judging yourself, like you judging your work. Okay, how does this look? Would I fuck with this? Would I wear this? Would I pay for this? You know, does this look a little wompy to me? If I say yes, girl, fix it. Fix it before you showcase it, before you let your client walk out the door, whatever the case might be. So we moving on, okay? We moving on now. Now to my most favorite part. You know, I don't like prepping. The molding, the sculpting, I kind of like doing that because it brings the vision to life. But I love to paint. I love to paint and then actually see the vision come to life. So here I am using my Saviland gel polishes that I actually ended up depotting into a, what was it called? My words, they just, I don't know where they go. Into like a little color palette. I made a video on my Instagram, you could check it out. But I left these over because there was still like massive amount of product in there and I didn't feel like scraping it out. So that's what I'm going to be using today. You're going to see me mix them a little bit, only because, girl, you already know I'm a little picky in my head and stuff like that. And I was looking for a specific green. So this one was just giving me like a little bit too much. Too much green. I know that don't make sense. And then you know what I don't like also? What Saviland did? They catfished me. Like you saw in the beginning, if I look at the top and I see it's a dark green, I open it and it's giving me like a blue. I don't want that. That's also time for me, you know. But that's a whole nother topic because, you know, typically before your client comes, you should already be having everything laid out. You should have already put in the work. If your customer comes at 3:00, your shift start at like, for me personally, I like 1, but you could go ahead and start at like 2, just lay everything out and that kind of stuff. So it shouldn't really catch you by surprise. But I really don't like when companies catfish you. Like, bruh, you have one job. I mean, you had more than one job. Like, you had to make the packaging, the product, etc. But for me, what I've always learned growing up and what I was taught is to never half-ass anything. And I think that's why I'm just so picky with certain stuff. How many times am I going to say picky in this video? I don't care. It matters. So this is me just trying to mix it and stuff. And then I ended up using a shellac color from Jolifin. I really do like Jolifin. If you guys are out here in the 4-9, check out Jolifin. Like, it's so worth it. The quality A1. They got I got my sterilizer from there too. I got a whole bunch of stuff from there. They're thebomb.com. Send me some PR, man. Anyways, the one that I ended up using from Jolifin was called like electronic neon green, something like that, but it definitely did the job. These bow polishes that you guys see are also linked in my bio. I'm gonna link them down below since this is YouTube. But yeah, I am really tired of people asking me or DMing me just to ask me for the link. And it already says multiple times in the comments and in the caption that it's in my bio. Like, I swear nowadays people are just, I think it's the newer generation, which is crazy because it makes me sound so old. And I graduated 2016, but I feel like some of y'all really like, I don't know how y'all getting through school. It must be ChatGPT and everything, which is wild because I feel like no one's putting work into nothing no more nowadays. That's a whole nother topic for another day. So I'm painting, and now notice, what brush am I using? Am I still using that long ass liner brush that I use for my Frenchies? No, I'm gonna use a shorter brush because that is what I do when I paint. What you do is a whole nother thing. You might like a brush a little bit longer. You might like it even shorter. You're just gonna have to play with it and figure it out for yourself. Now with the leaf, what I did before I started painting is I put a line down the middle and I put lines to the left of it and the right of it, and then I cured just to give it kind of that realistic feel of, okay, it's a leaf. And that's what I say. Okay, you're going to you're going to paint a cherry or sculpt a cherry. Pull up a picture of a cherry next to you because you might miss out on details that you don't think of when you think of a cherry. I know it sounds so like, duh, but girl, when you see it then, and you'll see what I'm talking about later. Matter of fact, you about to see it here in real time because If I pick a cherry off the tree, do it look like that, bright green like that? No, I don't think so. We need to add different kind of greens in there to bring it all to life. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix up darker green with this, I don't even know how to say this company, Ajoy. I don't know, but you see it. I got this also off of Amazon. I'll have it linked in my Amazon storefront. And this is the base coat. I'm going to mix it with the base coat just so it's not that harsh. And I really like this base coat. Typically, I like to mix base coats for this kind of stuff, but I really do like this base coat. Like, it's smooth, and I just like to use it for like an airbrush effect even. It's very easy. It's very smooth, very nice, very kind to me. Now I need certain things to pop. I didn't mold that line in the middle for nothing and all those extra lines for nothing. So I'm going to take that green, glide it through there, and we mix it with a mixed coat so it's not that harsh. I don't need a strong ass line. Then it's gonna make it look odd again. You know what I'm saying? So that is why I mix it with a base coat. And don't worry if you don't have the Ajoy, whatever the hell it is, base coat. Just use any other base coat. I promise you, any other base coat works. You could even probably get by with a top coat. Learn your products, learn your tools, learn your brushes, learn your techniques, all that. It will make so much more sense to you. Be patient with yourself, girl. So there's really no certain way I can explain this to you. I'm just putting it on there, and I'm trusting myself and my eyes that this will turn out the best, beautiful, most gorgeous cheetah cherry set ever. I have so much faith in myself. I believe in myself so much, and I feel like that also really matters. You can have all the techniques, all the polishes, all everything in the world, but if you do not have faith in yourself, you're nothing. It's not gonna go nowhere, girl. Nowhere. If you don't believe in yourself, why in the fuck would other people believe in you? Okay. And shout out to my man for just cock blocking us right now while we having this deep conversation. Cause the game, we focusing right now. We don't need to hear that, do we? Another tip that I can give you if you're like, girl, I want to be doing all this, but I don't want to be sitting there and painting. Like I said, there's some parts that I love, and then there's some parts that I hate. If you're like, fuck, I hate painting, one thing that you could do is get colored sculpting gels. They have sets like that nowadays, not by a specific company that is sponsoring me or anything like that. So I'm not gonna name any specifics, but y'all can do y'all can do your research, look into it, and yeah, that's definitely somewhere where you could save some time. Like, I probably would have used a green sculpting gel on the stems just to get that over with, and then I probably still would have went over it just for the shadows effect and just making it come to life, making it look more realistic. So yeah, with the cherries I probably would have still did what I did. So I'm using the Saviland color right here, this red. Later, what you're going to see me do is I'll be using another shellac color from Jolifin. And it was so funny because I was just looking through my polishes. I'm like, let me see if I just have like a deeper red. Because this is very red for a cherry, right? But I grew up with cherry trees. Since I was little. So I know what the hell a cherry looked like. And this is just very red for a cherry. Like, this looks almost like it might be too early to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it still might need to stay on a tree a little bit, and then I eat it in about like a week or two. So I'm like, let me try to see if I can find a deeper red. And so that's what I did, and it was actually called Cherry Kiss or something like that. Don't let me lie to you. It definitely said cherry something. Like I said, everything that I'm using, everything that I feel like could benefit someone that would like to start a press-on nail boutique or just is learning how to do nail designs or nails in general, all that stuff I'm gonna have linked in my Amazon storefront. And I'm gonna keep talking, keep telling you guys like little tips and tricks and all that, because I really wish someone would have been out there when I first started in 2018 that, you know, didn't gatekeep. There was a few that I really liked watching or learning from, But I feel like it was always kind of like like they only tell you so much. So I love to share everything that I've learned. I feel like it's one thing starting your nail journey and it's another joining the nail community, because you will see sooner or later that these girls, if you're like me, I'm a girl's girl, I'm confident, I have so much faith in myself, I never worry about the negative, I never see any type of competition whatsoever. You will notice a lot of girls, they're not like that. They don't have that same mindset. They see competition, they want to argue with you, they want to throw shade, or like, it's just so weird. And it's rare to find another girl's girl in the nail industry that is like supporting you and sharing your work and just, complimenting you, just regular shit. And then you will also see the ones that would like to comment on your shit, talking about, oh, inspo for me, and that kind of stuff. And just like, just negative shit, or like a backhanded ass comment, or not comment, compliment. It's just like, girl, you wasted your energy with that. And I feel so sad for you, because like, we could have been friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could have created who knows what, you know what I'm saying? So that's okay though for me, because God, I would never want to be friends with those type of people that like secretly hate you, or like secretly in competition with you. For me, that is just so odd, and so much wasted energy and potential right there. That's the type of energy you could put in another nail set. So one thing you'll never see me doing is hating on other girls or that kind of stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't have no backbone or stand your ground. If you know me, you know I have a very big mouth in real life, and I do talk my shit and all that. But as I've gotten older, I've learned when and how to approach certain situations. And I love killing people with kindness. And I also love leaving people on red, or not even like going into other people's shit. And that this is all like no community stuff. Like, you will argue with yourself, and that's okay with me, because it will give you time to think before you rest your head on that pillow at night. I gave you a moment, you know what I'm saying, to think about me. Be like, was that worth it? Did I have to say that? Was that not so nice? Yeah, and I'm always winning, and I'm always, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed, and I feel like it's because I'm always doing good. I'm kind. I'm real nice in real life. You know what I'm saying? So you do good, good comes back to you. That's all I gotta say. And not to get all, deep with you or anything like that. Let's focus back. We're almost done with the set, right? But it's still looking kind of like mad green and stuff. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a lighter color. One thing that I can recommend is, if you're working with shadows and that kind of stuff, take the color you already have. Maybe you can add a dash of black just to get the darker version of it. Just a dash, though, a dash. And maybe like add a little bit of white so you can get the same kind of color contrast, so everything looks the same. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, but I didn't do that. I took another green, and I'm just going to throw that over the stem, a little bit on the leaf, just to make everything look like more natural, you know what I'm saying? And you can watch me do that here. We're almost done. I'm so excited. Here I'm adding a little bit of black right to the center of the cherry, because if you know a cherry, it kind of gets darker at the top, right where the stem is. So I just wanted to bring that to life a little bit more. To you, it was probably already done like 20 minutes ago. For me, it was not. All these little details that I added, you saw I added the white, then I went over it with white mixed with base coat. I went over that white part again. I'm doing this black stuff right here. I'm adding green to the leaves, even though it's already green. All this stuff will bring it all together, and will make your art stand out to others, rather than just like a plain ass cherry. Okay? I'm not saying this for nothing, girl. I'm trying to help you out. Well, it's time to top coat, and I'm sure you're like, girl, I know how to top coat. Blah, 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 blah. No, girl, listen. When I first started, man, at this one nail shop, well, not first started, it was like 2 years in. This lady used to be on my ass about how I would paint. I don't know if you noticed, but when I paint, I always paint from the back of the nail. Even if I like paint a little bit in the front, I'm still at the end before I cure paint from the back all the way to the front. Only because that kind of stuff matters too. And I used to think like, what the fuck is she talking about? But you can see the streaks. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do it from the back, you just got to learn, okay? And with a top coat, something else that I've learned is the amount of product you use, it matters. Don't try to be skimpy with this top coat because, say I use just a tad bit too much gel on the cherries, and you could kind of maybe got a little bit of wave in it. It rarely happens if you know how to paint, but say it happens, right? If you use the right amount of top coat, not too much and not too little. If you use too little, it's not going to do its job. But when you do that, it'll cover that, and it'll almost in a sense hide what you fucked up on earlier. It's a lot of tips and tricks. There's a lot of tips and tricks, man. So yeah, I'm using the Madam Glam top coat. Use code, what was it, man? XXL for 40% off. I can really recommend these products, these Madam Glam products. I'm not mad at them at all. I really wish I could have got my other PR package, but for some reason they didn't. I believe they didn't want to cover the costs for the shipping. And personally, I feel like if you're going to be working with a brand reaches out to you and they ask you, hey, can you showcase this product to your viewers? Then of course I'm going to need the product to showcase it. So, how you get it to me, of course, that's on you. If a customer orders a press-on set from me, I'm not going to ask them, hey, should I ship it through, USPS, or should I ship it through who knows what, so yeah, don't let these companies play with you either. Nothing against Madam Glam. I'm just speaking in general. Don't let these companies use you, okay? Don't let them use you. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was long. I know it was very detailed. I know it was very talkative, but I feel like there's probably someone out there that needs these kind of tips, and I'd love to share them, and I would gladly help. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you if you're coming from my other social medias, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it fully. Mwah.